Hi folks, Dr. P here. This is Math 20-2 Quadratic Equations, Topic 3, Example 1 and 2 on page 26 in your workbooks. So in Example 1, we are asked to find the roots to the following quadratic equations using the zero product rule. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull out each one of these binomials. In this expression, we're multiplying two binomials. We're going to pull out each one of these binomials and we're going to set it to 0. So x plus 7 equals to 0 when x equals negative 7. And then we do the same thing with the first binomial. X minus 7 equals to 0 when x equals positive 7. So the roots to the following quadratic equation are x equals plus minus 7. So either positive or negative 7, which means that if x is either positive or negative 7, one or the other of these binomials here would be 0, and 0 times any number would be 0. So that's our root. Let's look at B. Same sort of procedure here. We're going to pull out each one of these binomials and set it to 0. So the first one would be 2x plus 1 equals to 0. We're solving it for x, so we subtract 1 from both sides, which leaves us with 2x equals negative 1. Then we divide by 2, which leaves us with x equals negative half as one of the roots. For the second one, 2x minus 1 equals to 0. We start by adding 1 to both sides. We're left with 2x on the left-hand side and 1 on the right-hand side. Divide both sides by 2, and we get x equals a half. So our roots here are going to be plus minus half. So that was example 1. In example 2, we're taking this to the next level. We're going to be first factoring the following quadratic equations and then solving. So we start by factoring and then solving them just the same way we just did. So if we take a look at A here, it's a binomial where both of the terms are perfect squares and there's a subtraction, which means that this polynomial here is a difference of squares, which means we can factor it, difference of squares. So we start by factoring it as a difference of squares. We put in our two sets of brackets. The square root of the first term, x squared, is just going to be x. We put in our x. The square root of the 36 is 6, so we put in 6 as the second term in each bracket. And then we put in a plus in one of them and a minus in the other one, equals to 0. Now we have factored it. Now we go ahead and solve it using the zero product rule. So again, we're going to be pulling out each one of those two binomials and we're going to set it to 0. So x minus 6 equals to 0. And that's going to happen when x equals positive 6. And then for the other binomial, x plus 6 equals to 0 when x equals to negative 6. So our roots are x equals to plus minus 6. I'm going to do C as well. Same sort of procedure. We're dealing with a binomial that's a difference of squares. So we start by factoring this as a difference of squares. Square root of 4x squared is 2x. Square root of 49 is 7. And then we put in our plus sign and minus sign equals to 0. We pull out the binomials and set them to 0. So 2x minus 7 equals to 0. We add 7 to both sides, so it's going to be 2x on the left-hand side and 7 on the right-hand side. Divide by 2, which leaves us with x equals 7 over 2. We're going to do the same thing with the other binomial, so it's going to be 2x plus 7 equals to 0. Subtract 7 this time, so it's going to be 2x equals to negative 7, and divide by 2. So it's negative 7 over 2. So our roots are going to be x equals plus minus 7 over 2. So you do have the keyed workbook online on Google Classroom, so you can find the solutions to B and D. And also keep in mind that we have Google Meets where you can get extra help. So if we go to our Google Classroom and pull up our meeting schedule, we have Google Meets Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at the following times. Make sure you call in and join us. You can ask questions from either the examples or from the practice problems or anything else that you need some answers to. All right, that's a wrap. Until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, and may the math be with you. See ya.